Space and its creative CEO, Elon Musk, have developed and produced successful landings, which is an important feature. The Falcon 9 is the first reusable two-stage orbital rocket in the world. Space's patented Merlin engines, which use cryogenic liquid oxygen and rocket-grade kerosene as a propellant, power both stages. If you guess a galaxy far, far away as the source of its name, you're absolutely correct. In December 2015, the Falcon 9 was named after the famed Star Wars ship, the Millennium Falcon. Falcon 9 made history by becoming the first rocket to not only land, but also return. The space team was jubilant, celebrating, embracing, and even crying after they successfully landed vertically on Earth after a manned operation. We can only imagine how satisfying it must be to complete such a massive task. Number 9. Neptune's spaceship. All we can say is that, from a space standpoint, this one might surprise you. A Florida-based space exploration corporation took a significant logistical and creative leap when they designed what can best be characterized as a high-tech space balloon with an even more advanced capsule underneath it, evidently inspired by hot air balloons. The spaceship Neptune will mostly be utilized for tourism, ferrying up to 8 lucky tourists to the edge of space for a 6-hour sightseeing excursion. After flying, or should we say floating, the spaceship is made up of a reusable pressurized capsule and a large balloon measuring 320 feet in diameter. The ascending capsule and balloon are recovered by a yacht waiting at the landing zone. However, only the capsule may be reused. The balloon would need to be changed after each voyage. Number 8. Dream Chaser. The Dream Chaser, also known as America's space plane, was designed by Sierra Nevada Corporation to transport cargo and people to and from low orbit, and it has a few neat tricks up its sleeve. It's mind-boggling that it's entirely reusable, vertically launched, and can travel to space and back autonomously. Not to mention that it lands horizontally on normal runways, lest we forget about the whole package. There are 2 versions of the Dream Chaser. If you are considering purchasing both a cargo and a crew version, the 2 may appear to be comparable, but they have subtle changes that affect their functionality. The crew version, for example, can take up to 7 astronauts at a time, while the cargo variant has a payload weight of 5.5 tons. The 2 versions also differ in terms of reusability, with the cargo version capable of being used a minimum of 15 times and the crew version capable of completing at least 25 missions. Number 7. The Boeing Starliner. The Boeing Starliner is a direct result of Boeing's $4.2 billion contracts with NASA to provide reusable and autonomous lift vehicles that will routinely make trips to the International Space Station. The Starliner can leave Earth, fly to the station, dock, undock, and land fully autonomously back on Earth. One advantage the Starliner has over its competitors is that, unlike other spacecraft, it can land on solid ground with relative ease, making personnel and cargo extraction considerably easier. It has enough for 7 daring passengers and can stay in orbit for up to 7 months. The Starliner is expected to be used for a minimum of 10 flights by the middle of 2021. Boeing's maiden demonstration with astronauts is just a few months away. Number 6. The second spacecraft. If we had to rate all of these crafts only on their beauty, the exquisite spacecraft would unquestionably grab the prize and run with it. The Spaceship Two, built and produced by Virgin Galactic and Sir Richard Branson's pride and joy, is by far their most ambitious project, having been presented in 2009. The vessel is an air-launched, reusable, suborbital space plane built exclusively for tourism. To take off, a quad-jet cargo aircraft lifts the spacecraft to an optimal altitude. Although the spaceship was designed to land conventionally on ordinary runways with a payload of 8 passengers and a high frequency of flights, it was released to take off using its thrusters to propel passengers to the Earth's upper atmosphere. Landing is a lot easier because the spaceship was designed to land conventionally on ordinary runways with a payload of 8 passengers and a high frequency of flights. Virgin Galactic is attempting to establish itself as the world's leading space tourism company. The spacecraft has already completed 2 successful flights, and Virgin plans to take CEO Sir Richard Branson on a voyage to the upper atmosphere later this year. Number 5. Blue Origin designed and constructed the New Glenn. Space's New Glenn is the company's second spacecraft to enter production, and it is Jeff Bezos' response to Elon Musk's rise. Glenn is a fully reusable single-configuration and single-lift launch vehicle designed to transport crew and cargo to and from various locations on Earth, outer space, and beyond on a regular basis. It has a huge nose cone that can hold twice as much payload as any other spaceship. There's a lot more room on New Glenn for supplies or satellites that are supposed to be launched later this year. The goal date has been pushed back until the fourth quarter of 2022, according to Blue Origin. In 2020, New Glenn will be used to kick off the company's widely anticipated project Blue Moon. Number 4. Dragon from space. The Dragon was born when NASA awarded space a $2.6 billion contract to begin development. In 2020, this dependable space vehicle made history by being the first privately owned spacecraft to send passengers to space and safely return them home. To maximize utility, Space has created two variants of the Dragon, a Crew Dragon and a Cargo Dragon. With a payload of 6 metric tons, 13,000 pounds, to orbit and half the capacity for returning freight, it is currently the only operating spaceship capable of returning considerable amounts of freight to the Earth. The Crew Dragon is capable of transporting up to 7 astronauts to and from space. Number 3. Heavy Falcon. The Falcon Heavy is a partially reusable heavy-lift launch vehicle created and constructed by none other than Space. It is derived from Falcon 9. The center core is a stronger Falcon 9 first-stage booster, with 2 extra Falcon 9 first stages strapped on as strap-on boosters. With the ability to convey a massive 16.8 tons from Earth to Mars, the Falcon Heavy blasts every other spacecraft currently in operation out of the water in terms of payload. The craft is well known for its well-documented inaugural launch, in which it carried a dummy Elon Tesla Roadster with a human dummy called Starman inside. Since then, Space has stated that the Falcon Heavy will only be used for freight, with the much-anticipated spaceship now in production handling human transportation. Number 2. Orion. A space defense system designed by Lockheed Martin and Airbus. This is a type of semi-reusable space. NASA's Artemis programmer officially called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or Orion NPCV, will use capsules in 2024. NASA plans to deploy the ship as its primary reusable lift vehicle for manned deep space exploration missions. It can currently support a 6-person crew beyond low Earth orbit. Orion can be docked for up to 21 days and up to 6 months on the ISS. It's the only spacecraft in development that has the technologies needed for deep space exploration, such as life support systems, heat-shielding solar panels, advanced communications, and navigation. Orion's lunar mission is set to launch in 2024, and 2 astronauts, 1 male and 1 female, will conclude humanity's decades-long journey to the Moon. Number 1. Ships in space. Space's Starship is the farthest from the completion of all the spacecraft we've explored. However, its huge public appeal, which has already been dubbed humanity's New Age ark to Mars, may persuade you differently. Once the proposed vessel is completed, it will be a fully reusable stage to orbit a super heavy-lift launch vehicle and, needless to say, our best shot at going to Mars with a payload of 100 tons. The craft is intended to transport cargo and crew to various locations on Earth, in Earth's orbit, the Moon, and eventually Mars. In order to fund the endeavor, the first trip is set for 2023, and will contractually carry rich Japanese fashion designer Lusaka Maizawa and his entourage on a private lunar excursion. Which of these spacecraft do you believe has the most potential? What do you think the chances are of public space travel becoming a reality? Would you risk your life on one of these multi-billion-dollar ships? Let us know what you think about all of this and more in the comments section below. Hello and best wishes for the future, until next time.